So first, most important things, do's and don'ts. Don't wait until the last date to apply for this exam. Don't jump in and apply. Don't wait until the last date to apply. Right? So be very careful in registering your name and date of birth. What your certificate says is sacrosanct. You cannot change your names. Be like 100% sure before filling in your name and submitting it and paying the fees, which is why I will suggest you to wait before making the payment, especially because you have the chance to edit things before it actually gets frozen, right? So recheck many times your name and date of birth, because these are things that you cannot change and might come back to bite in your posterior. So make sure you have these two things like really nailed. Especially in many cases, your name should be as per your 10th standard certificate. That is the guideline for you. So if your let's say your community certificate or your reservation certificate tells name in the other way around, or some other middle name is added and all of that, don't worry too much about it. The most important part is your 10th standard certificate. So however is your name in your 10th standard certificate, you got to follow with that. So remember that, cannot not do that. Check the correct category. Also the category thing, you cannot re-edit, you cannot change. If you let's say you apply through some one category right now, but it so happens that later you don't have that category certificate, or you are not actually belonging to that category and mistakenly done this, the entire process will be bent. You might face a lot of issues. So don't check the correct category. Even if you're a general candidate, make sure you have clicked only on general or open category and not the other categories. So remember that these are things that are pain points that could become pain points if you are not careful enough. So that is there. When you are applying inside, you will get lot of courses. It will have FPM courses, it will have rural management courses, it will have FABM agri-business management courses, it will have Lucknow has sustainability management courses. There will be so many different courses. Some of them might not be relevant to you. It is completely all right. Tick all the boxes. Tick all the boxes. Take it from me. People, when they are very focused, they think like, okay, I'll tick only the relevant boxes, have missed out on a couple of boxes that are relevant. That has happened in the past, which is the reason why we keep saying don't take that chance. Right now, tick all the boxes. Then if you get a call from, let's say, PGP HRM from IIM Ranchi, you know that there is 0% chance that you are taking up a HRM course. Still tick that box. You don't want to miss out on an IIM Ranchi call because you thought, hey, I'm skipping the HRM box, and you are skipping the actual main course box. What if that happens? So be humble, don't be cocky. Check all the boxes that is present inside the list that is given to you. Apply for all the courses now. You can always, when you get a call, you can choose to not proceed. That is important. So you have the choice there. Now please, for love of God, check all the boxes. Don't worry later. Make sure you can always say, hey, I don't want this. That is all right. So remember that. When do I pay the fees? Don't jump in and pay the fees today, tomorrow. Don't wait until the last 4 days. Take your time. See, now you still have time. Start off the process today, tomorrow. Start off the process of registering your email address, phone number, OTP, all of that. Keep filling the form in the next 2-3 days, and then make sure you read it, reread it, proofread it, your form, before you may click on submit and pay the fees. Because the moment you have paid the fees, everything is done. You cannot edit anything. So remember that. What about photo? Don't take a photo in a background that is not white or half white. You cannot have a red background photo. You cannot have a blue background photo. Let's say you have a red background photo, right? You took it in a studio and that is a red background. What do you do about it? You can always put it inside a PowerPoint and then say, hey, remove background is a beautiful, simple but powerful tool available inside PowerPoint. You can say remove background and check which all areas you want to remove background. It will remove predominantly reasonably well, and then you have that photo under a white background inside a presentation, and then you save it as a picture. It will work, right? Your picture cannot be more than 1 MB, it cannot be PNG, it cannot be TIFF, it has to be JPEG, JPEG or JPG. So remember that it has a resolution 35 by 40 mm, I guess. So it has to be in that pixel size. Make sure you follow all of these. If you don't, then what happens is that your hall ticket, your picture comes scary, and your center will want to have a physical photograph affixed on your hall ticket, and right next to it your photograph that you uploaded, they both need to be the same. So remember, if you don't have a soft copy of a photo, or you cannot take a printout of a photo, don't use that photo. Maybe take a new photo, right? Darkened glasses should not be there, plain glasses could be there, too reflective should not be there, your eyes should be visible, no caps, no cooling glass, all of these are there, no side view, front view. So all important stuff. So make sure you take effort into getting the right photograph uploaded, right? What about sign? Sign also has some restriction in terms of size, in terms of pixels, also in terms of how many MBs can you upload, right? It should be much lesser than 1 MB if I'm not wrong. Make sure you scan it and then upload it. In many places scanners are available. They have very clearly mentioned, don't use a mobile phone to take a photograph and then use it as scan. But in some ways I think if you do it really well, if you have that faith, even you can even use a mobile and then get away with it. But honestly, I would say, if you can get hold of a scanner, if you go to an internet cafe and then get it scanned, get it scanned. Don't do all fancy stuff that they have told you very clearly to not do, right? So remember that. If you don't have your original scanned version of certificates, whatever version you have, upload them right now. I guess in many ways 10, 12 certificates, they are not asking you for your scanned certificate. So remember that. So it is all right. These are some of the do's and don'ts, some of the common doubts, right? Important doubts to remember. If you are passed out, or if you have, let's say, 2 years of work ex, this is not very relevant to you. If you are batch of 2021, what you should do? They have given you a final year form. Maybe you can get the form signed and scanned and everything, but as far as I know, there is no place inside the CAT application where you can upload the form. So that is one more thing to remember, right? Remember that. And your percentage CGPA until whatever semester you have, until 6th semester, until 5th semester, fill in that. Don't fret too much. Whatever results are out, fill for that. Also, there is a checkbox that says I am in my final year thing. So definitely mark that, right? You cannot not do that. So remember that. Batch of 2020, very tricky position. You can technically you're not in your final year, as in technically you're in your final year, but logically you shouldn't be, because you are in August. You might have started working. How do you go about it, right? In my opinion, not just in my opinion, even from IMCAT, I did raise this query and then they had answered this. The answer is that even if you are batch of 2020, but your final exams are not yet over, you are not yet graduated, your last sem results are yet to come, right? You got to fill in as I am still in my final year checkbox. You got to fill in that. That is what official CAT help desk tells you to do. So if technically your course should have gotten over by this March, but you are still in college, you have not yet finished your semester exams, then you should check the box as 2021 batch will do, that you are in your final year, and fill whatever scores you have so far, right? Pending results. How do you go about it? Exactly same. Don't worry about it. Your results are pending. It is all right. Make sure you mark them as, hey, I am still in my final year, and then go about it. What about backlogs? Backlogs, don't worry too much about it. Worry about fixing the backlogs. Worry about passing the scores. But it is all right as long as you are clear of backlogs by the time next May happens, May, June. Before admissions, they want you to not have any backlogs. Before admission next June, they want you to have finished your course, graduated, right? That is the idea behind this. So backlogs right now is all right, because you need to make sure, you could be 20 batch, you could be 21 batch and have backlogs. In both cases, all you got to do is you have time until next May to clear your backlog. So remember that, right? There is this issue of CGPA and percentage. How do you go about it? Let's say my university gives me a CGPA by some complex calculation. How do I convert it to percentage, right? Ask your university for a formula. You will get it from your college. right? There are universities which gives you formula of into 7 point something plus 11, I guess Mumbai University, and then there are universities that says into 10 into 9.5. Your university might carry a unique formula to convert your CGPA into percentage. That is very important, so take that, right? If your university clearly mentions there is no conversion available, then multiply it by 10 is your percentage, right? Again, both these information are available in imcat.ac.in, right? Next important question that people, hey, I run my own business, I work for my friend, how do I show that? Right? Formalize everything as much as possible. Have a firm registered and then make sure your bank statements reflect you have drawn a salary. All the documents are proper, showing that when did you establish your business, how long have you been running the business, your bank statements to tell you how much transactions has happened. All of that, have proof, have tangible paper trail that can prove that you have actually a business. Because think about it, I am a professor, I am seeing the 80th candidate for the day or 30th candidate for the day. I'm already tired. When you come there and then say, hey, I ran my own business, I'm going to look at you in a very, very, very skeptical way and then think, I'm going to say, hey, what if this guy is trying to hoodwink me, right? There is a good chance that the professor will feel that way. And there are many instances where students have tried to pull this off without actually owning something, right? So they will scrutinize this even more. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have your own business, or you're working for a startup, all three things will be scrutinized even more than your regular TCS job or everything, especially because the chance of cheating is much high. So they want to make sure you're not lying, you're not cheating, and then take it forward. So remember that, formalize it, make sure you have documents to prove at every step of your journey. Gap in my job, how to show that? Should I show that? You should definitely show that. Let's say you took a break of 3 months for preparing for UPSC or preparing for something, or you were sick, it could be anything, and you did not draw salary, right, for those months. Then you should show that as a gap. I guess there is a column that says number of months gap during your work ex, right? So definitely show that, especially because you don't want to get caught with your pants down, right? So definitely show whatever gap you have, because it is always better to show everything, be honest, and then get the best that you can, rather than getting something and then getting caught and then being shamed and screwing up your 40-year-long career because you were very stupid to and you are stupid and young to take it for granted, right? Never take anything for granted. There is value in being truthful, so remember that. Freelancing projects, no fixed job, how do I show it? You can show them only in your interviews, right? If you are freelancing, your job thing has very clear distinctive definitions, right? It has to be paid, it has to be full-time, and it has to be post your graduation. It cannot be called as internship, right? So you have to be working full-time, you have to be paid by the company, and it has to be post your undergraduation. Which brings us to the other point. If you are not yet graduated and your work ex, and you already have started working from, let's say, April, I don't think you can claim your work ex to be 3 months. I don't think so, because CAT very clearly tells you that your work ex begins the moment your graduation has happened, right? So remember that. So if you are freelancing, there is no easy way to go about it. You see what best CAT score you can score and then go on to the next round. And during your interviews, if they ask you, hey, what were you doing? Well, like, yeah, you should say, hey, no, I was doing multiple freelancing projects, but my application would not support me showing that. So it was kind of informal, not formal. I was not in a formalized business getting a monthly salary and everything. So this is what I did, this is what I wrote, these are the reviews that I did, and so on and so forth. Then you prove yourself, you take your experience and put it to use. But you cannot take your experience that is not a formalized job and put it to use in your application stage. So remember that. University name not available in the list, fill in that as others. It is completely alright. I heard recently Delhi University name was not there, at least a day ago. Maybe they have fixed it, but at least a day ago people did tell me that Delhi University name was not available. If it is not available, don't fret too much, click on others. That is all there is to it, right? decimal points, scores not getting accepted, your 12th standard score percentage not getting accepted. How do you go about it? Fill it to 2 decimals. If you are trying 1, make it 2. If you are trying 2, make it 1. Try it out, it works, right? So your decimal points matter, and how do you round it off also matters. If it is 935, sometimes 93 will work, sometimes 94 will work. Try it out. You can, the moment you know you have done it right, you are going to the next step. So don't worry too much about your decimal points. Don't fret that, hey, I'm unable to fill in my marks, right? Don't worry. I know my CGPA. How do I convert it into total marks, right? This is again a wonderful question. People struggle with this. So my 10th scores were 9.5 out of 10. How do I convert that in? I know how to convert it into percentage, but how do I convert it into CGPA? Is that your total marks should be multiplied by 100. Okay? So multiplied by 100 is what is given in the FAQs. So I am not cooking this up. All you got to do is, if you don't have faith in me, go to your imcat.ac.in. On the top right, you'll have FAQ. Click on it and then find it, right? So your CGPA is 9.5, and then you had 10 subjects. So multiplied by 100, you're 950 marks out of 1000 marks. If you know specific total marks, then go for it. Otherwise, make it into 100. That is what IMCAT tells. I'm not telling you that.